But there's a difference. I get this report twice a day now, 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. So we're monitoring not only how we're doing in the course of a day, we're monitoring how we're doing throughout the day. And it's gotten a lot better. This report has about, I don't know the number, 15 units on it. Now we're down about 5 or 6 in the course of the day. And we keep our apparatus running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So that equipment is out there running all the time. And you know, if you take a piece of mechanical equipment and you run it for 24 hours, chances are you're going to have some challenges. We have a much better preventive maintenance program now, where none existed before. If you turn to page 14, you'll look at what I call a mobile hospital unit. The inside is larger, the air conditioning system is better, and they're a lot easier to work on.
Another $230,000 expectancy of 5 years.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. Now, if we maintain them better, quite frankly, because of the conditions of the city, because of the frequency that they're out on the street and how much we use them, we expect 3 years of frontline service and 2 years of reserve service. And then we put them through a property disposal action where we try to auction them off and get something for them, if we maintain them long enough. Some of them are just worthless when we're finished, quite frankly. It's a lot of work. And if you go to page 15, you look at our frontline service now, average age of the fleet, our ambulance is down to 2 years average life. We still have to look at our engines and our trucks and our hazmat units, but we're focused on that as well. And you look at the apparatus replacement schedule on page 16 and the amount of money that we asked for, the amount of money we've been given. I got to say this is a shout out to the mayor, because when we realized we had an apparatus challenge financially, in terms of funding, he gave us $4 million additional dollars for the next 3 years. Now, to take that money from somewhere else, where I don't know where it came from, but I know where it ended up. And it ended up in a place where it's most needed in terms of us being able to provide emergency medical care throughout the city. These trucks, we plan on buying 3 trucks in 2014. In fact, I'm going to go look at a truck next week. And look at the number of trucks we're buying and look at the cost. Since you were talking about, right, since you were talking about the cost for the ambulance, and one of those aerial ladder trucks costs over $1 million. Not to mention the cost of staffing and all the other equipment that goes on. So while we're buying an ambulance for $238,000, you know, the budget was between $4 and $5 million a year. Now, if you have a $5 million budget and you buy 2 trucks at $1 million a piece, and you buy 3 engines at $628,000 a piece, you don't have a lot of room for ambulances. In fact, that's not a lot of money to maintain a fleet of 33 engine companies, 16 truck companies, 3 rescue squads, 2 boats, and 39 pieces of rolling stock for EMS units.
So this may be a silly question. So are we paying cash or are we financing?
It's finance. Some of it we're paying cash, but most of it is finance. Yes. And because we have such a booming economy, the best in the country, our bond rating is very good. We take very little interest. People want to buy into Washington, D.C. because the return on investment is guaranteed. Now, again, we talk about our paramedics on page 17. You see a picture of a group of graduating paramedics who were hired as paramedics to respond on September 16th. Even though some folks, even in our agency, said we did not have paramedics on the scene because a firehouse close by wasn't staffed, I can tell you that's not true. We had 22 paramedics at the Navy Yard the day of the incident. And every unit that left the Navy Yard left with a paramedic on board. Okay? We had many of our paramedics were at the training academy going through a refresher course. We had just hired a group of already certified paramedics who were learning our protocols. And when the call came in, I got the call. I ordered immediately for them to bring our mass casualty bus loaded with paramedics and equipment to the Navy Yard. And that's not anything I put out in the public, so I'm not going to continue to spar with critics in the media. But the reality is, every unit that left that Navy Yard had a paramedic on board. Recognizing we have a paramedic shortage nationally, what we've done, first of all, was we tried to partner with Prince George's Community College because they have a paramedic training program, but we thought of doing something better. The University of the District of Columbia is partnering with the Fire and EMS Department to develop its own paramedic training program. Okay, so we can grow our own paramedics right here. Right now, we're hiring people for certification, but we expect by September to have that program up and running. That way, people who live in Washington, D.C., who want to become paramedics, don't have to go to Prince George's County for training. They can go right up to the University of D.C. Our firefighters who are not paramedics, who want to be paramedics, can, with a subsidy from the department, go to UDC and get the training. UDC is where I got my bachelor's degree and my master's degree, so I have an affinity for that university on the Hill. Absolutely. So and that'll be the the newest paramedic program in the area, the only one in the District of Columbia, and it will allow us to compete with Prince George's Community College under the aegis of a university.
How long will it program?
Will the district pay for what?
Pay for the training.
We'll pay for the training. If they're our employees, absolutely.
So how long is the program?
It takes 1 year to get a paramedic certification if you're an emergency medical technician. It takes 2 years if you have no certification at all. But most of our employees are at least emergency medical technicians.
So what's the total cost that it goes through the program?
It'll cost, right now, Prince George's offers a $2,500 cost for an employee. I'm thinking that UDC will probably match that or make it even better for us because we are helping them start this program. We had originally, when I came back to D.C. from Sarasota, Florida, we were investing $240,000 in our training program, particularly our academic programs up at UDC and around the city. We looked at that and realized that we were putting money in a bucket, but it wasn't being utilized to the extent, A, that it made it profitable for us to do that. So what we now do is we have our employees go out to school, and when they get the grades we expect, then we pay for it. So we're not subsidizing D's and F's. And in some occasions, we're not even going to subsidize a C, because we know they can do better. But, and that's made them focus more. We're not paying for grades that don't reflect, A, the department, and don't give you a return on your investment. We figure a smarter employee is a better employee. And if our tax dollars are going to pay for it, then we need to hold them accountable. If you look at page 19, this is significant. And it's significant because every one of those folks in rows 1 through 4 live in Washington, D.C. Historically, the department has hired from the district, but also from Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, and as far away as Washington State. So we devised a program that will allow us to hire from a closer end. And the value in that is if something happens, we want our employees to be able to report for duty rapidly. If you live in West Virginia, it's going to take you a while. And depending on the circumstances, it may take you till the next day. Because if anybody was here on 9/11, and I was the incident commander for the entire city on 9/11, I know this city will experience gridlock for one, and panic for two. And one of the things that keeps down panic is constant communication and a belief that your public safety officials are going to protect the city. And knowing that our employees live close by should add some confidence in our ability to protect the city. So that first row of young folks in blue, this is their graduation at Dunbar High School. They graduated on December 2nd, Friday. The next row, or the next 2 rows of young folks in white shirts, December 5th, the next Monday, we hired them as cadets. Now, this represents a $1.2 million career for our young folks. I'm about to close, but I'm going to tell you why this is important, because unemployment is high in the city. It has been reduced considerably since 2011. More importantly for us, if we don't take care of our young folks, we don't give them a sense of hope, a sense of meaning, and where they fit into society in terms of gainful employment, they become a challenge that some of us don't want to run into. I'm going to recount one thing and I'm going to be done. We went to Roosevelt High School to do our cadet presentation. The kid got up and walked out. I've said this many times, some of you may have heard it. That young man got out and walked out, and I followed him out to the parking lot. I said, "What are you doing? Why are you leaving? You know, this is a golden opportunity." He said, "Look, I'm ready to get out of high school. My friends are dying, going to jail, and they're selling drugs. I probably won't be alive in another year anyway." Now, for somebody 17, 18, or 19 to say that they have no expectation that they'll be around in a year, they're not only a danger to our city in the future. They're a danger to me and you. Any kid that doesn't think he has a future could do something harmful to somebody else. We hired this young fella, found that he had a C average going to school twice a week. So, I told him, I said, you know, if you went to school 5 days a week, what you could be doing right now? He turned out to be one of our scholastic stars. And it not only changed what happened with him, his friends saw him change. So the impact is not individual. It can be exponential depending on how we do it. And that's why we do what we do. I want to thank you for allowing us to come in here, share this good news with you. You can go into the rest of it at your leisure, but I can tell you this. Don't believe a lot of stuff you see in the media. It is designed to disrupt what some might call a radical change. But the change is here, and we're committed to making sure that it's inculcated. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Chief. I just wanted to congratulate your department. Not too often I feel like congratulations, but your department is doing a wonderful job on behalf of the seniors of Fort Lincoln. You're constantly over here. Some of my seniors use you as their primary care, but you do, I think you're doing a lot of sensitivity training in regards to your staff because it's a different group. And yeah, they do much better. Very, professional, and they're very courteous to the seniors, but we do see them a lot, and they're doing a good job. Just wanted to say thank you.
I want to thank you for that. We have focused on being a part of the community, being sensitive to you, our clients, and know we work for you. And it seems somewhere along the line that folks forgot who we work for. And we've been reminded by the mayor, our leader. I remind them regularly. Chief of Staff, Ms. Taylor, Tim Wilson, we all remind each other. And if one gets out of line, we're all here to pull each other along. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to share something. If there are any questions, DUI, ambulances, anything that's been in the media that you want to ask about it, please feel free.
If we can hold the questions,
That's good. I'm out to drive.
and Mr. Baker, get started. Make their remarks and we'll sort of back around. Is that okay, sir?
Quite fine, but we have an act. The Chief of Staff, we have an act. And we check blood pressure, glucose, two insidious diseases that are in our neighborhood all the time. We're happy, and we do it for free. By a firehouse, check the blood pressure, check the glucose levels if necessary, and they may be able to do it right now.
Thank you.
Lieutenant Serenity, 5 TSA 503 is now TSA. I know most of you here. Of course, I cannot sit here and talk about rules and regulations to do that. But talk about some of the things that we've done since all of these mall shootings and school shootings. We created an active shooting team, and what the chief did was she trained mostly all officers are trained, and on each shift we have a team of active shooters. We trained at schools, DC government schools that were closed down, because that's where you could train at. You go in there, and it's normally like 4 or 5 officers at a time. We go in, disengage the threat, and we come back out. Okay? We also have staff members, which is the special threat action team on each shift. So, Navy Yard shooting, best example of MPD working with all the other jurisdictions around. We also have, we're able to communicate, PG, any jurisdiction you can think of, we are able to communicate with them. And this is all since 9/11, okay? We got radiological pagers that we carry around that detect radiation. We also, all of our upper staff were trained in the NIM system, which is the National Incident Management System. So we have received a lot of training, and we got a lot of specialized units out here now that's available 24/7 in case of emergency. So basically, that's all I had to talk about. Unless somebody have a question.
I do have a question. Can you speak a little bit to the crime trends for the Fort Lincoln area and how they've been over the last 2 months?
Okay. You all know that 503, we have a theft call.
Yes.
Once the Costco came in, it just increased our theft. Of course, the gas station over here is a constant source of theft model. And where it is that the guys pull up, normally in a stolen car. People are leaving their doors unlocked. They pull up, open the door, take their purse. I mean, if you can believe it, people are still leaving their cars running with the key in it. It just happened at Costco last week. I mean, a guy was like, I wasn't even thinking. He left his car running, went into Costco. Of course, his car wasn't going to be there when he came back out. So that's the model. We get a lot of theft models around here.
So is there going to be increased patrolling?
There is increased patrolling on the evenings and day work tour. You should see an officer over here at Costco like all the time. Okay? So once Costco opened, we had a lot of theft. But once I noticed it, I sent my officers over here, and they constantly over here at Costco. And I like the fact that Costco only got one way in. I just went and spoke to the manager over there at Costco. We in constant communication. So, and the thing about Fort Lincoln is that you're real accessible to the highway. So as soon as the theft go on, they right out the highway, right to PG, but we communicate. You know, you'd be surprised how it's regular. All right? Because just a couple of weeks ago, theft at Costco, we announced it, got it to PG, they picked up the vehicle came back into 6D, we caught everybody. Okay? But unfortunately, they juveniles, and we all know what happens with juveniles.
There's such an increase in the theft of cars. Only one of our board members, all her tires was sold and taken off the car last night, right across the street from the police car.
The first time.
It's ridiculous, even the Westinghouse, you know, they're stealing cars like crazy. We say that some more. You know, you do have that lovely officer on his bike, but that's a little hard.
Right, I know you see him, because I seen him down there yesterday. But historically, Fort Lincoln has had a theft model. Remember when the cars were burning up around here? I mean, that has slowed to non-existent. Okay? So, the theft models in Fort Lincoln area have slowed down.
So will we get more coverage, more patrol? We're going to get some?
Yes, we are. We get ready to go into new system, get ready to get some new officers, so you should see that. And you know I respond to everything you ask me about.
I know. You look like my daughter, that's right.
When you say theft at Costco, could you describe the types of theft? I mean, is it all types, or is it mostly thieves that are robbing Costco, or are they robbing shoppers at Costco?
It's actually all types. Like I said, but it was mainly when they first opened. Now it's also slowed up considerably. I mean, people were going in there walking out the window. And then women leave a person in the car, put their groceries in the car, and when they look up, their purse is gone. Okay? They had one theft over there from the gas station, but they got some attendants over there, and that's why I met with the manager over there just a couple of days ago. You know, just so that we can set a line of communication open, and so that the attendants can help us out with a little bit. Make sure they have phone, you know, so they can get that look out of stolen vehicles and get it out there, so we can, come quickly, okay?
I have a question, right along the lines of that retail management and everything. I've seen in other larger shopping center areas where the police department is working in conjunction with a lot of retail owners to get the retail owners to provide closed-circuit television monitoring and more cameras and things of that nature, because they know that they can't stop the crime, the theft and petty thefts, but they know that they can kind of record it and track it and get to it. Is that something that Fort Lincoln should adopt? Some of the gas stations along South Dakota, Costco, something like that, that kind of helps to catch and deter crime as much as possible, instead of calling you guys out when something happens all the time and you're, kind of trying to chase and figure out what's happening.
Well, I can't speak for the businesses, but I know that Costco, of course, money isn't a problem for them, so everything we ask them to do, they've done it. They have improved their camera system, but the Shell gas station, the camera system is not even in existence. So I can't speak for business owners. I can only advise them and ask.
Yeah, that was my question too, is, do you, have an advice for the communities, the homeowners, like condo communities to put in more cameras, to deter crime, break-ins and whatnot?
Well, I could say this, that I live in Maryland, but I still have cameras around my house. I have alarm systems, and that's another thing that I see. A lot of DC residents don't have alarm systems. The number one way for burglary in the District of Columbia is they kick the door in. The basement door or the front door. If you had an alarm system, because they target mostly people without alarm systems.
Bars.
Good, that's a great deterrent.
I know, but they still are, trying to break in, so I don't know how cameras could answer that problem, or at least record.
Well, at least you can record who is breaking in, and
So
you can get that out, okay, and capture
Because
them.
nowadays cameras are pretty cheap.
Yes, they are. But Fort Lincoln used to have a lot of burglaries, but now it's non-existent up here.
Because of the school closing, I've noticed a decrease in crime since the school.
That is correct. I don't know if it's due to the school closing. I would like to think it had something to do with police.
I think it has an increase of it's not the school closing.
Say it again?
It's not the school closing, it's the increase of professional police station, of the officers that are around here, because of the complaints that were coming in.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Looking at the individual clusters and then kind of Fort Lincoln as a whole, along with the police department, you talked a lot about, cameras and locking your car doors, just kind of more tactical things that we can do to prevent crime. Is there something strategically that the police department is doing specifically here in Fort Lincoln that we can tie in our communities to help the police officers? Not where you're responding every 5 seconds to a call that's maybe something that we can even, from a larger kind of umbrella, limit that by something that we're doing to aid you guys.
Well, I say that communication is the key. Anything that you see, you might think that, I don't want to bother the police with, but you'd be surprised how much it helps us.
Okay.
It can even deter a crime before it even happens. But I work closely with all the commissioners here in the 5th District. We constantly have crime meetings. We have crime phone calls every week. So, Ward 5, the 5th District, we are really on top of crime here in the 5th District. The commander keeps us, we constantly, all the command staff for 5 days constantly talk about crime. So, I know what happens on every shift. I work day work, but I know what happens on evenings. I know what happens on midnight. Not only in my PSA, but in the entire 5th District. And communication is the key. I always get my phone number out.